Hey everybody, are we live, Stephen? Hopefully, I'm gonna take that as yes. So my name is Mike Herschel. To the right of me is Andy Giles, Dripyard co-founder, and hey Andy,
Hey, Mike, how are we doing today?
pretty good. And to the right of Andy is Mike Anello, who's going to help us take a lot of Q&A and questions and stuff. How you doing, Mike?
All right, happy to be here. Actually, really looking forward to seeing what you guys have in store. So happy to help.
Cool. All right, so we got a short presentation, a whole bunch of demos. Let's kind of get on to this right here. Can you all see my screen all right? There we are. All right. So this is a Dripyard product launch webinar. If you don't know us, my name is Mike Herschel. I've been involved with Drupal for a really long time. Over 18 years doing Drupal development. I've made a career out of it. I'm the primary developer behind Drupal's default theme called Olivero. I do lots of core contribution. One of the things I'm really proud of is bringing in single directory or helping to bring in single directory components into core. But I do a lot of other stuff, including things like helping out with Claro, the navigation module, and a lot of other really cool stuff.
Yeah, nice. And I'm Andy Giles, Andy G5000 on the interwebs, and been developing Drupal projects since around 2010. And for the past 10 years or so, my main focus has been around Drupal commerce integrations and building data pipelines for like CRM style sites. And with Mike, I started Dripyard in February this year. And I had a keen interest in Mike's premium theme idea because as a solo backend developer, I was limited in my abilities to create high quality, functional, and accessible front ends for Drupal. And that's why we made Dripyard.
Yeah. So as in our webinar form that Aliel filled out, we asked a lot of questions like what are you expecting to see? So we had, of course, ChatGPT kind of distill this down. So a lot of people looking for theme demos and to see how they can customize that to fit their brand. Talk about the architecture and technology, the secret sauce behind it, including the editorial and developer experiences. And then, of course, pricing, our roadmap, and support. But the best one was number 6 right down here. My boss made me, someone put that in there. So we hear you, person from Conference Catalysts, and hopefully this is a good presentation for you. So we've already done our intros. We're going to talk about pricing and throw out some coupon codes in a bit. Andy and I are both going to demo themes. I'm going to do some deep dives into accessibility and performance. And also we're going to look at some code so you can kind of see how extensible it is. Andy's going to demo, and he's been working pretty hard on building out his own website using one of our themes. And he's going to kind of show you what that looks like and some different options on how to do that. We're going to talk about support and roadmap and finally take questions. We have an hour here. We have a whole bunch of content. So let's see if we can do it. And we might go a little bit long if we need to, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so we're going to cut to the chase. I know everybody's first question is probably, what is the cost of these themes? And one of our core goals when starting Dripyard was to lower the total cost of ownership for Drupal. Historically, Drupal sites have been incredibly expensive. There's been a lot of developer hours that have to go into making the theme look nice. And like starting with a small site build of like 10 to 15,000 and having 40% of that development cost go to the front end, Dripyard can offer you a substantial savings because we're coming in right at $4.99, which is a very small percentage of that theme development budget. That should get you about 90% of the way there, depending on your branding requirements. We're confident that, when you download and install our themes, that you're going to have about 10% of that work left to do, branding colors and logos and just overall polish work. But at $4.99, well, we felt like that was a steal for what we're offering, especially, once we get into this and you see all the work that Mike put in behind the scenes to make the theme accessible and responsive and just like built on Drupal core principles. I think just seeing the theme and a sticker price right there might be a little bit of a shock, maybe. But as you stay with us through all the features and things that are going on underneath the skin, you'll see that value for sure. And as a participant in the webinar today, we've got a couple coupon codes here. So the first one is Launch 100, and we're limiting that to 10 purchases, and that that coupon code will be available through the end of the day. And then if you're watching this later, we have another coupon code that will give you $50 off, and that coupon code will be available through the end of the week. Both of those times are Eastern US time, so make sure if you're going to buy it, you do it before the end of the day for us.
Yeah, I would argue that you should go to dripyard.com and buy the theme right now.
Yeah, you can just hop off the webinar and go buy it.
It's a total race.
We have a question right off the bat.
All right.
Guys. Someone just wondering that price per license or per site, per domain?
Very good. Yep, I actually had a bullet point and forgot to mention it. So thank you for bringing that up. The price of the theme is per public-facing production subdomain. So if you have like multiple sites that are multiple departments or whatever, they would require their separate theme license. But yeah, so that gives you, and of course you can use your themes for dev and QA environments and stuff like that. But one public facing production subdomain is what the licensing is based on.
Cool. So I'm going to talk about why now. So like why are we doing Dripyard now? So traditionally Drupal themes were not able to predict the markup that the content management system was generating. And if you don't have, if the theme does not know what HTML, what CSS class is, you can't style it. You can't make it beautiful. That all changed with single directory components, which was added maybe about a year or two ago. Single directory components, if you're not familiar with it, it allows the developer to bundle HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all together, gets loaded all together, and at that point you map your data into that. So that enables a theme to basically ship a huge library of components with some base styles, and it just works out really, really well. It'll enable Drupal to compete with things like with WordPress and Webflow, which have huge theme ecosystems. Drupal's strength is that you can site build, you can build your way just through the UI, a very complex content architecture. But but the problem is, as soon as you want to make it beautiful, it costs a lot of money, like frequently north of $10,000 to get a design, to get to have a front end developer who knows accessibility really well, put it all together for you. So that's kind of where we fit in. So let's get into some demos right here. So I am starting right now with just basic Drupal. Y'all have seen this. This is the Olivero theme, which I worked on right here. And within here, I pulled down Neon Byte. So Neon Byte will come with a base theme and then a sub theme. We're going to install the sub theme. And the reason that we're doing the sub theme is so when you do updates in the future, you don't clobber any type of custom work they did. So we're just going to install and set this as default. I'd also like to point out that this is live demo. So if something goes wrong, it's all Andy's fault, or Mike Anello's fault. So out of the box, there's no content, so it looks pretty bare right now. So we have our logo that comes with it, the home link, and of course a little search drop down and some basic text that says, "Welcome to the Drupal community." So, this is okay. It looks a little bit different, but let's go a little further here. So Dripyard has built-in recipes in here. We have a whole bunch of different options, which Andy is going to talk about later in this presentation. But right now we're interested in the recipes. And the recipes, if you're not familiar with it, it's configuration and default content that, places that default content onto the page how you want it. So we have recipes for custom blocks, custom nodes, demonstration content, landing pages, and layout builder. We're using a layout builder here is because our themes have no dependencies outside the core. We don't have any type of dependencies modules or anything like that. So I'm going to hit the save configuration right here, and you're going to see these install, and it's going to take a second or two right here as we wait for this. And
Hey,
now
Mike,
we're
can I
going
ask a question while this is installing?
sure.
Someone's wondering what CSS framework, if any, is the theme built on?
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that, but no CSS framework. This is vanilla CSS, and we're gonna dissect we're gonna talk about our design system, and we're gonna talk about like the overall code architecture later in this presentation. So let's go to the homepage, and so we install these recipes, and we have a fully functioning homepage. That's just like a whole bunch of components that you can see right here, right? So I'm going to kind of talk about some of my favorite things here. I want to talk about the menus up here. So these menus are super accessible. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into there, but you can see that we have built-in menu cards. These menu cards are custom block types injected via a custom view in here. So there's no dependencies outside of that. We support up to 3 levels on the menu. So you can kind of see, like right here, we have 1 menu level, but if you have if you have a tertiary menu structure, let me show you what that looks like right here. You can see right down here, we have 3 levels of menus. If we have that, it goes into multiple columns. So you can easily throw in your menu links, give a hierarchical structure, and everything kind of looks really great. I'm gonna show you what it looks like at mobile. We're gonna just emulate it in the browser. So you're gonna see the tabs are over to the right, and the reason that the tabs are to the right is so they don't displace the hero right here. But you can see how the menu system works. Mobile is obviously fully responsive, and we tested it on a wide array of devices. And there's a couple like really cool things that happen here. You can see that these full image cards, they actually get a little bit shorter based on the screen height. We have a media query based on the screen height, so they don't take up, the full amount of the screen. And as we scroll down, you can kind of see things look really good. You can see how the tabs are working right here, and yeah. So one more thing to look at is just kind of our articles that we have here. Out of the box, Drupal core just comes with basic page and articles. The articles just have kind of a wide a wide image up here, and of course, like our text is a little bit narrower, so it's a little bit more legible. That being said, like we have a full array of components right here that you can kind of hook into it however you want. So I'll hand it over to Andy right now, so y'all can take a first look at the Great Lakes theme.
Yeah, so I actually feel like I'm running a bit of a telethon here. We've got orders coming in already. People are using the coupon codes and not lying.
Yay.
So go ahead and get your order in. But anyways, yeah. So as Mike mentioned, Neon Byte was our first theme that we built, and then
I don't see your screen.
Yeah, it has
can everyone else see?
No,
that's important.
That's my fault.
Okay.
Hey. Now we can see it, right? Okay, so yeah, Neon Byte was our first theme that we came up with, and then actually Bernardo gave us the idea in DrupalCon Atlanta at one of the after parties that we should probably build one that's centered around like higher ed or like an educational institution. But it can also be used for government agencies, global brands. I mean, either one of our themes can give you the framework to really build anything you want, as you'll see later when we do some more demos of themes built from ours. So Great Lakes, it gives you like a softer design palette, and it's geared towards more concise communication with the visitor of the site, right? So students, faculty, and parents in the example of like a higher ed site will be able to easily navigate, read, and find the content that they're looking for. So some of the components and features that you get with this theme are, a captive hero with calls to action. So these are links that can take you to different parts of the site, and then you've got a captivating image, that's, all of this is responsive. And then this really cool, unique page scroll feature, which is optional. If you don't like that, or people complain about it, you could turn that off. But we really like the way that it, presents a bold image, and then you kind of get into the site as you scroll through it. So it's really cool. And in that, we've got this really awesome menu that is different than Neon Byte. It's bigger, bolder, more clear presentation. And same thing that Mike mentioned earlier, it's got the tertiary navigation. And we also have menu card support in here where, menu cards would appear in the main level. So, and then even if we go to the mobile view of this, let me just refresh so you can see what that looks like. We come into the mobile menu, really nice, responsive, accessible, all the things you'd expect for it to be. All right. So some of the other components you get are, it comes with a clean typeface with ample spacing. So it's really legible, easy to read. You get card components. There's over 50 different SDCs that we ship with this, like the event listing, testimonials, number counters with interactions, promos, videos, more promos, calls to action, and cards to the articles. And so if we go into one of these articles, you'll see this would be like a blog post. So we have the primary image, really nice looking typeface presented, and menu in the footer, social media links and icons out of the box, which you may have seen. I think this one has icon cards as a component at the bottom. So, we ship with an icon library, and you can build these components from that. And of course, everything's WCAG 2.2 AA accessible out of the box. And we're really excited about this theme. I'm gonna pass it back over to Mike, and he's going to go into detail about how we build these things.
Yeah. So I want to talk about our design system right here, because this is like part of the secret sauce, our color system. So we wanted a color system that could apply like multiple different colors to the same component, like multiple different themes to the same component, while keeping appropriate contrast to meet like WCAG criteria. And it needs to be flexible. We need to be able to apply their own brand. So we have a 4-layer color system, and I want to like, this color system went through a lot of iteration. We started on three layers. We ended up going up to 5 at one point, and then consolidated a couple. And a lot of trial and error went into this, and I'm really, really happy with how it works. So it all starts with the theme settings. You go into your theme settings, and you pick your primary base color, and it does exactly what you think it does. It just sets one value within configuration. But then we have our semantic layer. Our semantic layer will take that primary color, and then it generates a whole palette based on that. So you can see these palettes are labeled between primary 100 to primary 1000, with 1000 being the lightest. And it also generates a neutral palette that we use. And then the real magic is within the theme layer. The theme layer takes that semantic layer and organizes them into 5 different themes. We have a white, light, primary color theme, and then dark and black, which within each of those themes, each theme has its own CSS file. We create theme tokens that are used by text, surface, and borders. And this layer is what's responsible for keeping that proper contrast. So you can see an example of the theme right here. So we have different tokens for surface colors, for text colors, border colors, link colors, and other miscellaneous colors, including button colors. You're not seeing the whole list right here. But what's really important is when you match a surface token with a text token, you are confident that it's going to meet that 4.5 to 1 contrast ratio, which is required by WCAG to 2.2 AA, which is our goal. And the same thing with our borders, our border colors and our icon colors. we're meeting the 3.1 to contrast ratio. And finally, all those get invoked within the component layer. Each of our components has their own tokens and the reason that we have our own tokens on each component is in case you want to override them. You can see the top CSS variable up here is card border radius, which maps to radius medium. Now you can adjust that radius medium within the theme settings. That's one of our config values. But let's say like you want the card border radius to be large. At that point, you can easily just override that custom. You can override this with code within your subtheme just by overriding that CSS variable right there. And so let me kind of show you this in action right here. So I'm back at the on the same site that we were at before, and I'm going to show you our statistics right here. You can see that right now we have kind of a light theme, and we're going to change that out. So I'm going to go into here. I'm going to configure the section here. Now, right now we're in Layout Builder, but this is going to work the same if you're using something like paragraphs or if you're using Drupal Canvas in the future or something else. Because this wrapper is a single directory component, and then each of these items inside are also single directory components. So we have a custom layout defined for the wrapper. So we're going to change this to black, and we're going to hit the update button here. And then when we save it, you're going to see that all of the text updates, and we're confident that this color text, these hyperlinks all meet that 4.5 to 1 contrast ratio. And you can see that we're going to go back in here and we're going to change it to the primary color. So update and save. And once again, we're confident it's going to meet it. And that really allows you to customize your page, to build out things in kind of that visually compelling manner, you know? And so I'm super, super happy. Like this is one of the things that makes a Dripyard theme a Dripyard theme. You know, it kind of puts on some really, really good guardrails that it gives you really, really cool, cool flexibility. So I want to talk a little bit now about some more advanced stuff within our theme. I'm going to show you some features with multilingual, and then I'm going to.
Hey, Mike, can I hop in for a second? We have a bunch of questions.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do some quick ones here. So first up, are image styles and responsive image styles part of the recipes?
Heck yeah, they are. So our heroes are responsive image styles, and let me try to navigate to it so you can kind of see this right here. This comes directly through here, and then you can also see all of our image styles that we include with this. We transform them into AVIF files, which is kind of the latest and greatest image format. It'll reduce, like, say if this background image was a PNG, the AVIF version of this would reduce that file size by like 10 times.
Okay. Next up, browser support.
Yeah, so we support
all versions from the beginning.
We support all the way back to Internet Explorer 4. Now, I'm just kidding. We support the last two versions of every major browser, which is consistent with Drupal core. So you can go back. We can go back to Safari 17. I don't even know what version of Firefox we're on or what version of Chrome, but the last two versions of major browsers is what we support. We also do a lot of progressive enhancement. So an example of this is within Chromium. You see how these there's an animation as these expanded collapse. This is CSS only because Chromium right now supports things like interpolate size, which allows heights to animate to auto. And Firefox and Safari don't yet support that, but Firefox and Safari will fall back to that earlier, the earlier behavior of just kind of appearing and disappearing. So we do a lot of that using like modern CSS techniques like @supports and stuff like that to make sure that the fallbacks, like everything fallbacks gracefully.
All right. And Kathy is asking if there's a reduced motion setting.
Heck yeah, there's a reduced motion setting. I'm going to demo that in just a little bit. Actually, I'm going to demo that right now. Well, I'm going to demo that a couple sections up from now. I'm going to talk about some accessibility features, and I'm including turning off reduced motion or enabling reduced
one
motion.
last one. One last one. As you can see on the screen from Ryan. Do you plan to offer any more classic blog style themes?
Heck yeah, we do. These 10 months that we've been working on this have been just building out this component library, building out this design system and stuff like this. Now that we have this, we're able to more rapidly iterate and kind of build things out. So absolutely, we're going to build out some blog type designs.
All right, I'm gonna hit you up with one more since it just appeared on.
Keep on going, Mike.
Quick. Icons use Icon API or something else?
Yes, we use Icon API. Yep. We use the brand new Icon API, and if you're not familiar with this as a Drupal developer, the Icon API is phenomenal. It's very easy to use, and then there's a contrib module called UI icons that actually gives you like a little field widget and stuff to build. So yeah, like I'm constantly on top of like new Drupal APIs to make sure our stuff is using the latest and greatest. Our goal is that like when you download a theme, it's using stuff that is going to be supported for a long time. And the things that are in Drupal core, they're going to be supported. Core has a very conservative backwards compatibility policy because we don't want to break websites out there. And so we lean on core very heavily, obviously.
There's a lot of questions coming in and people seem really excited about all this stuff. So we'll let you get
Awesome.
back to the
I'm excited to show it off. You know, I've been like Andy and I have just been like working our asses off for so long, and you know, this is it. So I'm just like really happy. Let me show off some language, like the multilingual stuff right now. So let's install the language module. Let me just search for this instead of. I'm going to install the language module, and then I am going to install a language here. And the language I'm going to install is Arabic because number one, it's near the top, and then number two, it's a right to left language. And if you're not familiar with like right to left languages, like Arabic and Hebrew, you read from the right of your screen to the left of your screen. So I'm going to go back to the home page, and you can see we have a language picker right now. And this language picker, like right now, we only have 2 languages, but obviously it will expand and it will have lots of other languages if you support more than that. So as I flip it to Arabic, everything is going to switch to a right to left layout. Now, you're not going to see different text down here because we didn't download any translations. If we were to download translations and have proper translations for everything, you would see like the different glyphs and things like that the Arabic would give you. But what I'm trying to show off right now is like our themes are built to be fully multilingual, no matter what the language. So there's a lot of work on this. We use modern CSS, like CSS logical properties, and like lots of other things. You can see how the arrow, like the little directions of the arrows, flip from pointing to the top right to the top left, and just like a lot of little things really kind of matter. You know, you can even see how our little carousel kind of adapts to that. So, but this is a little confusing for me, so I'm going to switch it back. So another thing I want to show, and this is something that, you know, it's not quite supported, but I really want to show this off, is using our theme as an admin theme. And this is something you will never want to do. I don't recommend it. But the reason that this is important is because it's common for admin widgets. And when I say like admin widgets, I'm talking about things like drop buttons or sometimes the let's go to manage display here, like table drag. These can sometimes bleed into the front end, you know, through like different forms. Web form can pull this into the front end and things like that. And our stuff works with this, and you try to do this on like any other theme, it's going to fall apart right here. And like there's a heck of a lot of work to make things like table drag work, to make like views. I know we don't have a heck of a lot of items, but like sorting and all this type of stuff will works great. And there's like the point I'm like really trying to get across here is like there's a whole bunch of tender loving care that is just put into this. Like Drupal, like when you're doing the front end of Drupal, there's a lot of little widgets, a lot of little like edge cases that you have to take care of, and all this takes a lot of skill and it takes a lot of work, and we have that built in for you. So let's look at some accessibility stuff, and like including the reduced motion stuff that Kathy was asking about. So like the first thing I want to talk about is just like focus states. So our focus states are you can see, like, as I start tabbing around, the focus states will actually change depending on the item that they're in right here. So you can see, like, right now we have a white dotted background. And as we go into different themes, like you can see right here, we have a blue dotted background, and it'll go, our focus states are pretty prominent. They're consistent across the whole site, and they just work really well. I want to go back up to the menu up here. You can see like one of the most challenging components on every website is the primary navigation. And because the primary navigation is actually two components in one. You have your mobile navigation, which operates like visually distinct than your desktop navigation, but yet your markup has to be the same. And it's also how people navigate throughout the website. So it needs to be accessible. It needs to be understandable. It needs to be operable. It needs to be perceivable, all that type of stuff. So as you tab through here, you will note that like on some menu systems, as you tab, the submenus will open up, and it forces that keyboard or switch user to kind of navigate through everything. We don't do that. If I hit enter right here, I can tab. I can choose which things I want to tab to. I hit escape, it closes it, and the focus will shift back to that parent item as expected. As that button, it's a button element that is highlighted right now. As that opens and closes, we toggle that ARIA expanded attribute. So behind the scenes, we have ARIA expanded true, ARIA expanded false, depending on the current state of that. And that will inform any type of screen reader users, hey, this is a button, it's currently collapsed. I hit enter, hey, it's currently expanded. And that's the same for all of our buttons right here. And as you go in, as we go into mobile mode, as we open this up, we actually do a focus trap. And this is important because our mobile menu is obscuring the content. And it's a WCAG criteria that if you can't visually see the content, it cannot gain focus. So as we tab through here, you're going to kind of see it's tabbing out. You cannot get to that content, but yet I can still get into this. I hit the escape button on here. It closes that submenu. I hit escape button again, and at that point we're back to the main item right here. So so this is pretty important. Let me show off our reduced motion stuff that Kathy was asking about. So the first thing I want to show is, you see how these menu items kind of have this, our menu has, of course, like some animations that kind of change. And then also, as we scroll down, you can see that these numbers change. So I'm going to emulate prefers reduced motion. I'm going to show you all how to do this in developer tools right here. It's on the rendering tab in the little drawer here. And let me find this. It's always a little weird. Prefers reduced motion, prefers reduced motion. And then I'm going to refresh the page. And so the first thing you're going to see is there's no animations. There are some like opacity change animations, but that's not going to cause any type of that's not going to trigger any type of vestibular disorders or anything like that. And as you scroll down, you're going to see these numbers don't animate anymore. And everything, you can see that these animations for our details elements do not animate anymore either like that. So even the carousel that we put a whole bunch of tender love and care in do not slide anymore because we are reducing that motion. Something else while I'm in here is I want to talk about forced colors mode. So forced colors, if you're not familiar with it, kind of maps to Windows high contrast. And so according to Microsoft, 4% of Windows users use high contrast. And high contrast mode will basically, it will remove any type of background colors. It will make all types of borders, including transparent borders, opaque. And it has built-in colors, which are called CSS system colors, things like canvas text, button text, and things like that. And it removes everything beyond that. It still will show images, but you can see in this, if you have text on top of an image, it will actually put a background color behind that. So supporting reduced or supporting forced colors is a little bit tricky because you can see in this particular case, we have black text on white background. But if we change like the color scheme to dark, you can see it could also be light text on a black background. And if you actually go into Windows, you can create your own custom color scheme. So you can have a green background with red text and stuff like that. And people actually do this. And we have to support this. And our stuff is supported. You can see that all of our icons are fully apparent. Like all of the menu icons change. Everything is fully apparent here. Our logo is not, because that's the logo that people upload, and that's not expected. That's an image. But you can see the borders appear around the cards to provide that like delineation. And the same thing where like previously there was no apparent border on the details elements. Now you can see it because we are in that forced colors mode. So that's something that it comes down to this TLC that we kind of put into this with accessibility. Let me see if there's anything else I need to show off. I wanted to show some of the carousel. Like, I don't know if you, so we do have a carousel component right here. And there's this website, it's called like, should you use a carousel? And it's a big, no. Because the carousels can have some issues, but yet people want it. And I believe carousels do have their place. And let me refresh so we actually have these animations happening here, right? So I want to talk about some of the work that's even put into this. So WCAG or like the Web Accessibility Authoring Group, I think I got that right, has published examples of carousels and say, this is how you do a carousel accessible, an accessible carousel. And this is what we followed. So there are things like, setting a label on your carousel, applying proper ARIA roles to this, giving it an ARIA role description, making sure all all controls are focusable. So like these previous and next buttons, these are all focusable, and the pager buttons are focusable too. And then each item in here has the appropriate ARIA roles too for this. So that allows people that are using, screen readers or assistive technology to understand, hey, this is a carousel, this is how I operate it, and this is the content within it. And the same thing happens with the tabs right here. Like I'm using the arrow keys to kind of swipe through, and this is expected functionality for people who are using assistive technology. So I'm going to talk a little bit about performance, like web performance. Like slow websites are one of my biggest pet peeves. And I want to show some of the features in here that once again comes down to the tender loving care. like you can see right now, our CSS is not aggregated on my local right here, but we preload fonts right here. So I don't know if you ever been to like a website where, the fonts pop in after a couple seconds or they might shift. Preloading fonts and doing it properly prevents that. We only preload fonts that will show above the fold. And in addition to that, like as I mentioned earlier, we utilize responsive images on the larger images. We use modern image formats, AVIF or WebP, and because of the overall architecture of the theme using single directory components, the CSS in JavaScript only loads when necessary, and this means that your theme is going to be really, really fast. That doesn't mean your website's going to be fast. You can still have a slow website if your database queries are slow and it's not loading for whatever, but your theme is going to be fast. And so I'm like,
and Mike, I've got something to show real quick. In addition to what you were saying about performance, I was poking around our website earlier and ran a lighthouse scan, and this is for mobile. And I don't know that I've ever seen fireworks, but you get it with Dripyard, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So, all the things he's mentioning go into this, right? I mean, how often do you see this with a Drupal site out of the box? And of course, a lot of this is dependent on your hosting and caching and stuff like that. But I mean, accessibility, SEO, it's all right there. And while I've got the screen, I just want to show real quickly, there was a comment from Ryan about blog type, themes. And, Dripyard, of course, we're dog fooding. We built our own site with our own themes. So you can see like all the really cool stuff you can do with a blog, code highlighting. You've got this nice navigation on the right. So pretty awesome. Back to you, Mike.
Do we have any questions?
Yeah, we got a lot of questions. You can take a deep breath here, Mike, just for a sec.
I feel like I've been going a mile a minute here.
Yeah, you may have had maybe one cup too many of coffee. Anyway, yeah. So a question about how often can folks expect new themes from Dripyard?
Yeah, I would like to have a new one out by the end of the year.
What's the schedule?
Okay. We have a roadmap. So, and we're going to talk about this in the future. A big part of our roadmap, at least until the end of the year, is making sure we support the heck out of Drupal Canvas. Because Drupal Canvas is where Drupal CMS is a core functionality of Drupal CMS. But we are actively working on new themes. We have the infrastructure created to create these new themes more rapidly now, but at the same time, we don't want to just spit out crap. We want to make sure what we do is super quality.
All right. And next question, do you provide a storybook instance for themes so that if someone purchases a license, they can extend it?
Easy answer here. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's asking. Oh, good.
Like, and there's a reason for that. We honestly, storybook adds a significant amount of complexity, and Chaz, I know knows this. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Yes, but no. Okay. Someone's asking. Daniel's asking, is there a special coupon code if he takes both themes?
I think we should.
Well, I was going to say you could use
one.
place two orders. The way our e-commerce site works currently is, each theme is basically an order. So place one, go back through, place it again. So.
Yeah, and I don't know right now if our our e-commerce setup, which Andy built right now, like the way that we built that because of the commerce licensing module. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andy. It only allows you to purchase one at a time. Is that right?
Yeah, it was just easier to maintain if we have one theme per order.
Yeah, but message us either Drupal Slack or here if that is, and we'll help you out.
And then Daniel has a second question. All of this sounds very technical. It's not a complete new, but how easy is this for his grandma to build a blog?
Yeah, so I would say
easier, Neon Byte or Great Lakes?
I would say they're both about the same. Maybe Neon Byte's just a little bit easier. The Great Lakes fixed hero requires it places that hero within the block UI or the block layout UI, which if you're not familiar with the block layout UI, it's a little bit non-technical. my attitude for your grandma is like if you're placing components on the page with Drupal core, like you're still kind of locked into Layout Builder, and there's a lot of modules that can make Layout Builder like significantly better, but out of the box, Layout Builder is not the most easy to use thing, which is really why Drupal CMS is like Drupal is creating Drupal Canvas. Drupal Canvas, if you're not familiar with it, is a page builder. It was formerly called Experience Builder. And Drupal Canvas is made for a somewhat technical person. Like I'm, depending on how technical your grandmother is, but like I'm thinking like, a marketing person who maybe might know what HTML is, but doesn't know how to write HTML. Someone like them to place items on a page. So we're selling a theme. We're not selling modules that enable a page building experience, but the page building experience is like very, very critical to the overall usability, but that's just something that we can't control at this point.
Right. And then last one, last one for now, I should say. There's a lot of questions rolling in.
Yeah.
Some questions that there's a lot of excitement about this, but will themes be installable or updatable via Composer?
We considered doing that. Like,
The answer is yes.
Yeah, is it? All right.
Yeah. So one of the things we did building early on, Mike had kind of some ideas that it should be based on core. We shouldn't depend on paragraphs or any other, modules outside of core to do things. And then also he wanted it to basically be a zip file or a tarball that you could unpack, drop in your themes file, enable, do the recipes, the whole 9 yards, just out of the box. So there was some challenges in making that happen. And we've solved all of them that we're aware of. But in addition to that, like we do have support for, there's composer files in the themes. So if you dropped it like in your, custom folder outside of the web root and composer require that way, you could do it. We'll also be building out a composer endpoint that's based on your license that will pull it in, but that's a little bit down the road. But yeah, the answer is yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else? Mike?
No, I think that's
we've got a bunch more. Yeah, but we've
got 12 minutes left or something like that.
Oh,
so
God,
let's get into a couple more things. So I'm gonna share again. I think.
Well, hold on. I want to do that code, the component walkthrough.
Sure.
Do you want to go first, or can I do this?
Go for it.
Okay, cool. So I want to show you just kind of a standard component right here. So when you download a theme, you're going to get the Dripyard base theme, which is like a shared component library, some shared styles. And then you're going to get either Neon Byte or Great Lakes. And then you're going to have a sub theme for that. We're going to look at the card component within Dripyard base, which is shared between, all of our themes. And I want to show this to you because I want to show you like where the extension points are, how you like what a component is and how you would extend it. So like a single directory component, you can see like right here, this card will have the minimum of a YAML file and it will have a twig file. And you has optional JavaScript and CSS. So right now we're looking at the CSS right here. You can see that this CSS is vanilla native CSS, but it's modern. So you can see that we're using things like container queries. We're using CSS nesting, and we're using like modern media query syntax. This is all stuff that your browser supports out of the box that you might not know. And what I really want to get at is these are the component tokens up here. So if you want to override your border radius or colors or something like that, you do that in your sub theme directly through there. Something else I want to talk about is we have documentation. We have documentation, and each of these we have theme documentation, and we have example code that shows you how to implement it if you're using something like paragraphs or block systems or however you're composing your pages. And we have semantic markup that is kind of minimalistic. And I just want to give people kind of, like our tagline is beautiful themes inside and out. Our code, we spent a lot of time going over this code. So Andy, man, we're going to go over. We got to hurry.
Yep, we're going to hurry. In addition to that documentation thing that Mike was talking about, I do want to show this. This will be coming really soon. So basically, we have all the documentation baked into the theme. So when you download it, there's markdown files and all the components and all the directories you'd expect. But then also from that, we're building, documentation service or, site. So you can see how to use it, examples, the props that are available, the slots, which things are required, which things are not. So this will be very useful, I think, for anybody that's, customizing the theme pretty heavily. Yeah, so the next thing I wanted to show is actually like something different, right? So what can you build with Dripyard? If you, this obviously was started from Neon Byte. You can see some of those things kind of shining through, but it looks different, right? And so one of the things I'm passionate about is playing and recording music. And when I'm not doing Drupal, I'm usually recording Asheville-based musicians or playing gigs around town. And I purchased a domain about 12 years ago for Blue Oak Studios and never really did anything with it. And, now I have the opportunity, something to build something that looks great with Dripyard and promote that other brand. So if we go in here, I'll show you some of the customizations that are available. We've got a page layout that looks different enough from what you purchased online. But you can see some of the components, like this is, you might have seen this in Great Lakes, but it's available in Neon Byte as well. You got testimonials, cards, promos, all kinds of stuff. So if we go into the back end of the theme settings, the one thing we wanted to do was toe a balance between like trying to put every setting in the theme settings versus, you doing stuff in CSS. And so we think we found a pretty happy medium here. So you've got color scheme. And I think Mike showed a little bit of this earlier, but if we were to switch this, let's say more of a purplish hue on the lighter side, right? And then save this and then go refresh the home page. You'll see how things, the background subtly changes. All of the icon primaries change, but while maintaining the accessibility contrast that you need to have. And then in addition to that, you can set the overall site theme. So if you wanted if you wanted a dark mode, for example, and then you go to like a blog post, you'll see, you've got dark mode out of the box, which is really cool. And then the primary becomes like the accent. What else do we have? So in layout settings, you can customize widths and radiuses and stuff like that. And I think right now we have a squared off button radius, but I'll just show you what it looks like if we were to change this to like a really high radius. Refresh. You see we've got rounded buttons now, and that impacts, all the components. Well, that just impacts the buttons, but you do have control over border radiuses on the rest of the components as well within the theme settings. All right. So the header. So, you may or may not like the floated sticky header that comes with the Neon Byte theme. So we provided some options to customize that. So you may want it to be full width and not sticky. And then you could also change the color of it. This might look terrible with that color, but there it is. That's something else.
I think it's beautiful.
That's what I love it. What else? So yeah, customizing the menu, and of course everything stays responsive, and all the nested menus and everything we showed you earlier with the menu cards and all that still works with the full width theme. And then additionally, we have the footer settings for the theme. So these are just like basically changing surfaces that you don't have access to in Layout Builder. You will have access to some of these things in Canvas so that you don't have to do it, in the theme settings. But for now, since we're rolling with Layout Builder to launch, you can do all that. So let me change that back to black. And yeah, so if we get in here, let's refresh, make sure I like the way things are looking. I'm actually going to put that brand color that I had before in here. Da-da-da. And one cool thing here is, when you put in a color, we have like when we're saving the config, we determine whether that's light or dark, so that we can maintain that contrast ratio on themes that use that surface, right? So if we go to one like this, right, so it knows that it's a dark colored theme, so it's going to use a light colored text over it automatically. And if I were to change this to a light colored theme, these would change to a darker text. really cool. Like a lot of stuff that Mike just like even today in the demo, I had no clue was in the theme, but now being a part of the webinar, I know.
Huh.
So yeah, like one thing I think he had suggested with this is the hero, is kind of cut off. So let's go in here and customize the hero. So all the props that are available in the SDC that you might drop in with Canvas, we've made available in block definitions that are provided by the recipes. And so you've got like alignment of the text, you've got text color, you've got hero height. So maybe you want to change this to a large and then put the text in the middle, right? Update that. Go back and now we have, I must have missed something, but now we have, those changes applying immediately. What else? Full screen. Sorry, that's what I was trying to do, not large. All right. So then you have like the beautiful, full screen captive image. And then if we go down here, I've got just another thing I want to show you real quick before we wrap this up. I've got like testimonials and a card, but let's say I want to show some more testimonials. One thing we have that's really cool is a custom block type called Layout Builder Wrapper. And what this does is it allows us to bring in some of our SDCs that aren't, we don't have inline entity form or anything like that, or paragraphs, so we can't like nest things. But if we drop this Layout Builder Wrapper in here, we have different wrapper type components. And so if we select carousel and fill out the form, and then there's also some accessibility properties in here that get shown to screen readers, but that aren't necessarily rendered on the page. You can place your navigation and a pager, slides per view, rows per view, and then drop this in here. And when I do that, you'll see we get this like wrapper notification, right? And it's saying all items in this cell will be wrapped by the carousel display component. And of course, right now I've got a 2-column dynamic layout, but I could also go in here and change this to 3 columns. And you'll see how these things adjust. Now we've got an extra column there. So let's add some more testimonials real quick. Oops, not the same one. And you'll see as I add them, they're stacked in Layout Builder, and that's to give you a visual cue that you have more than one content. We don't necessarily want to load a carousel in Layout Builder. But when I save this and scroll back down, you'll see I've got that 3-column layout, and now I've got this responsive, accessible carousel. So I think, we're getting to the end of this, so let's go ahead and go into a Q&A, I think.
Well, yeah, we got to talk about support a little bit.
Oh, that's right. There's more content.
Yeah. And we're going to be kind of quick about this. So switch back to my screen so you can see our slide. There you go. So Andy, take it away, but be quick.
Yeah, so with all of our themes, we're giving 2 months complimentary support. So if you purchase one, you're going to get basically like a support contract from us that allows you to download updates to the theme that we make over the next 2 months. That includes like tracking things with Drupal core. If new things come out, we have to revise stuff. We're going to be rolling new releases periodically to include those things. It also gives you access to our private Slack instance where you can message us directly, and we'll respond within a reasonable amount of time to help you build out your site and with a Dripyard theme. There's some things obviously that we can't do. We can't build the site for you, but we can point you to documentation on how to map components and best practices for how to use our components and like the CSS tokens, stuff like that you may have questions for. We'll bring that to you. And if 2 months is not enough for you, we also have a long-term support contract that goes annually. We offer a recurring contract where you get the extended access to Slack, the extended access to releases. And the way that works is if you go back to your dashboard on dripyard.com and you click the link, you're going to get the most recent release downloaded. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah, and we also have, if you need additional help, if you want us just to kind of take over your theming, create custom components, map data, we're here. We're here to earn a living, make some money. So reach out to us. We have a consulting top level menu item.
And if you're wanting like more advanced consulting, we can build a theme based on Dripyard base for your brand that you can then deploy out to multiple sites and make sure that you have a consistent look and feel across all your brands or organizational units.
Yeah, absolutely. So our roadmap, our immediate roadmap. So keeping up with Drupal Canvas as Canvas is rapidly changing. Keeping up with that is at the top of our priority list. We do have some new components that we're working on, including alerts, modals, and stuff like that. I'd love to get true view transition settings, some theme settings in there, and that's kind of where your pages can like either fade or swipe as you're navigating around. Of course, we have some new themes coming. We're going to do some better integration with some of the Drupal's upcoming artificial intelligence tools. Andy's been working on documentation. We're going to do a roadmap page on our website as part of the roadmap. That's very meta. And then I'm just going to sit back and relax because I've been working hard. And so we're at 12 o'clock, but let's take some questions here. Hey, how did we time that, Andy?
Man, 1 minute over? That's pretty good. That's a lot of content.
Yeah. Oh man, I was talking fast.
So before people leave, where can people find this recording afterwards? We'll be able to find it.
Yeah. We'll throw it up on YouTube and then do a blog post on our website with a link to it and everything like that.
Okay. Great. And we touched on Storybook earlier. A similar question about Figma files for things. Will you be providing those?
No, we won't. And the reason is because as our Figma files were developed, we only had like 3 pages, and then we built out the design system beyond that. So to get like a full Figma designs for all the different variations and stuff, like we would have to pay our designers way too much money.
And this one probably deserves deeper explanation. Try and answer as quickly as you can. I'm the grandma in a site builder. I prefer paragraph layouts.
Yeah.
I'll reword it. What will the level of effort be to move to one of your themes from that type of situation?
So basically, like for each of your different paragraph types, you would need to create a custom template. So that would be paragraph -- your paragraph type .html.twig. And within there, you would basically map to the SDC component that you want. So that would look like something like you would do twig include or embed. You would look at the documentation, look at the props, and map your Drupal data in through that. We have documentation on how to do that and all that. It would require a little bit of custom coding because obviously we don't know what type of paragraphs that you have, but it's doable. And as you do like 1 or 2 paragraphs, it starts going a little bit quicker.
Yeah, and there's examples in all of the components where you can grab the example twig template, drop it in, and then replace your props.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing you touched on earlier, which I think bears repeating, is that you built these things without any contrib module dependence, with just focused on core.
Yeah,
100%.
And I know you touched on it earlier, but I think that bears repeating.
Yeah, it was a big hurdle. Like that was one of the harder things to accomplish, in addition to all the stuff Mike went through with accessibility and all the things that are hidden underneath that you don't really realize are there. Like making a theme have clean object-oriented code that's, extendable across sub-themes and stuff like that. Like it was a ton of work. But we made the decision early on that we should stick with core because there's so many people using different things. Everybody wants to use their own version of a page builder or IA, and we don't want to pigeonhole you into something just because we like it.
And one thing you've told me, I don't know, I didn't catch it if one of you mentioned, but there is some support in your theme for some contrib modules just so that they play nicely with your themes. Do you want to mention that real quick? Some of those modules or some of that real quick?
Yeah. So Drupal CMS, if you're not familiar with it, has some recipes for that include some modules, things like the Claro cookie consent banner and stuff like that. We apply our own styles to that. We apply our own styles over some web form styles that happens. Like web forms messages have like a little dismissible close button at the top, but we provide our own, so we have to make sure that theirs is not visually apparent and ours is. There's even like things like the coffee module, which allows you to jump around to admin interface a little bit quicker. We have some custom styling on that. So we don't require any of these modules, but we do a lot of library extends within our info file. And if we see those commonly used modules, we'll automatically override those and load the CSS at that point.
I know we're over time. We've got a bunch of questions still. You want to keep going?
Yeah, I don't have any, and people can either catch the record. I don't have any. I don't have a hard stop. This is my thing today. After this, I have happy hour.
Okay.
But so people can catch the recording, or people can stick around.
All right. Well, let's keep going then.
Yeah.
Andy from ProNet Source is asking, will you sell third-party themes like a marketplace?
That's a really good question. We have a lot of site infrastructure built up for that. We don't have any plans for it. One thing that I'm like really concerned with is just like the level of quality. Like we're not saying no, but maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, and I think if we did, it would probably be, some of the same infrastructure, but maybe separate from Dripyard or like a sub domain or something like that. I think maintaining our attention to detail and the quality and stuff that we've put into these things, we want to stick with the Dripyard name, and I think that's probably what we'd end up doing if we did.
Adam is asking, how do folks receive theme update?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So right now, when you purchase a theme on our website, we use a commerce license from Drupal Commerce, and it gives you like a unique identifier that we then use to like associate it with your license. And we have a custom package service that when using a hashed version of that in a certain way, will give you access to basically the latest release that you have access to based on your support date. So if you bought the theme today, 2 weeks from now, you went to download it and we had a roll to release in that time, being within the 2 months that we give you just out of the box, you would get that latest release. And right now we pin that download to like the latest release. Part of the roadmap will be obviously, if you need to specify a certain release within your license window, we'll support that. But for now, you just get the latest release of what we've tagged based on when you request it and when your license expires.
Yeah, and let's talk about the updates too. So, like when you download that zip file, it'll give you 3 themes. It'll give you it'll give you Dripyard base, it'll give you Neon Byte or Great Lakes, and then it gives you a sub theme of that. Now, when you're making changes, we recommend that you make changes in the sub theme. So then when you update everything, you can easily override, Dripyard base and Neon Byte or Great Lakes without having to worry about clobbering your changes.
Yep. And we also ship a starter kit. So if you don't want to use, Neon Byte _sub theme, we recommend you use the starter kit to roll your own.
All right. And then you touched on updates at the length on your previous slide, but kind of following up with this anonymous question, how long would that crossover between major versions of Drupal if you release a major version of a theme update? Or
yeah, so absolutely. So when you buy a theme, we give you free 2 months of support. There's an upsell in there where you can extend that to a full year, and you can keep on buying that support. The support's $100 a year, and it gives you access to all updates, and that will include any type of major version updates. So like when Drupal 12 comes out, and we have to update our themes to support a new API or something, or even just add like the core version requirements in there, you will at that point have access to that.
All right, very good. Catherine is asking if there's a page on the Dripyard site that shows comparative features of the themes.
No, that is maybe coming soon.
Put it on the roadmap.
Yeah, put it on the roadmap.
Right.
We've been so busy, Catherine's, but it's coming soon. We really need to get that up there.
Are you open to working with others to create themes?
More than likely, yeah. So
Okay.
feel free to reach out through our contact form or email. I'm Mike at Dripyard.com, Andy's Andy at Dripyard.com. Yeah.
Okay, this one, I think this one's more for Andy and the Blue Oak theme that you demoed. How long did it take you to build that out?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I think yesterday I spent about 3 hours building it, preparing for the demo today. And I will say the majority of that was me going around the studio here, like taking pictures that didn't look like garbage and making sure, they were color contrast and that kind of stuff. I mean, as far as like the overall site build, like the homepage, an hour and a half, maybe, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, imagine if you had to build this out from scratch. It would literally, like a competent person would literally spend months doing that.
Andy's asked, different Andy, third, I think Andy number 3 today.
A lot of Andys out there. Love it.
I know. Are all of the theme settings in one place, or do you have granular permission control over any of the theme settings?
Yeah, so the theme settings work in an inherited structure. So we've got Dripyard base that kind of provides the base theme settings. And then depending on the theme you buy, that may or may not expose additional theme settings in the theme settings page of the theme that you're actually using.
In one role could you
one
have
role. Oh, sorry.
elevated roles only access.
I missed the permission piece. Yeah. So right now it's just, one role if you have permission to configure the theme.
And that's controlled by Drupal core. Like Drupal core gives you the API to create those theme settings. And I don't know what permission that is, probably like administer the site or whatever. But yeah.
All right. This is James. Can someone purchase Dripyard base?
Not right now. Like Dripyard base
I kind of get it, right? If you buy any of the other themes,
it comes with it,
right?
Yeah, we don't have like a header or footer in Dripyard base, so you can, if you want, James, you can reach out. But I would take something else.
Are you going to be talking about this in Vienna?
Yeah,
Vienna?
I am. I have 2 sessions in DrupalCon Vienna. The first session is going to be with one of our friends, Matt Galaman. We're going to talk about contributing epic contributions to Drupal core. We're going to talk about, Matt and I have contributed some stuff together, and I'm like really excited about that. And then I'm going to talk about what is it? It is future-proofing your Drupal theme. And then I'm going to talk about more stuff that's kind of on brand. And that future-proofing is like on the very last day and like one of the last time slots. So I'm hoping I get 5 people there. So y'all should attend.
Someone's asking, can we access documentation, Dripyard documentation, to check if the implementation works?
Yeah, so that's on the roadmap. I think we'll sometime this week I'll have that up on our site, and yeah, you'll be able to browse it.
Yeah, and I would also like to say, if you look at the documentation and there's something that's like an automatic no for you, let us know. And this goes for everyone. If you see a component that you're expecting to see that doesn't exist or something like that, reach out and maybe it's something we could do pretty quick, or maybe it's something that, like, if enough people ask for it, we can be like, hey, we need to create this so we can sell more themes. Like, this is the type of thing we would want to know. So let us know. Let us know what your requirements are if we're not meeting them.
For this next one, I kind of wish you were in the same location. Who would win in a fight?
I don't know. This kind of happened in 2015 at Florida Drupal Camp, but we're not going to talk about this here.
All right. Any plans to be in the Drupal marketplace?
Yes, absolutely. And we actually submitted. I don't want to. They're going to announce. We do have plans to do the Drupal site templates within the marketplace. This is probably going to come out sometime around DrupalCon Chicago of spring next year. And Dries is going to be actually talking a little bit about this during the Dries Note in Vienna.
All right. Is there a demo page or a demo area of your site where everybody can view all of your SDCs?
Don't think so. That would have been a good use case for Storybook in that case. Like, that's one thing that we don't have. A lot of times what we tend to do, and you have to have the theme to do this, is kind of hard code some examples in there. If you want to do it before purchasing, you can message us and let us know, and maybe we can set one up on the demo page or something like that. But what's kind of interesting is a lot of our a lot of the components have different variations. So we would also have to kind of kind of show that off. An example of that is like the hero. The hero can go full width. It can be just the width of the content and be short, tall, and it can look radically different. And the same with our cards. Our cards you can swap between like landscape and portrait modes depending on the width of their container and stuff like that. So right now we don't have anything. If there's something specific you're looking for, reach out, because this is the type of stuff that we want to know what people are looking for.
All right. And the next question, I noticed that you swipe your library for the carousel. Are you loading libraries from a CDN or are there dependencies?
Neither. We have the library downloaded. The library's downloaded an MIT license, and we load that as a standard Drupal library. It's typically not the best practice to load things off of CDN because it creates that external dependency, and it also, your web browser also has to do those DNS lookups, handshakes, and everything like that to pull stuff down. So right now we don't want to make people go through a composer process. Maybe that can change later, but like right now there is a libraries directory within our theme, and we have a couple libraries in there, like Green Socks, another one, Swipers, another one, and things like that.
And I think I know the answer to this one, because we talked about how you support core, but things like expose filters and views.
Yeah.
Touched up with Dripyard styles.
Yeah. Let me share my screen right here. So let's go into. I'm just gonna set my admin theme to do this and go to content. So this is Neon Byte as an admin theme, but these are exposed filters up here. So this is what it looks like. It looks good. And a lot of work goes into this right here. And I'm gonna show you something that's like a little bit weird. If any of you are Drupal themers out there, you probably ran into this at some point. So each of these form elements will have a label, and it may or may not have a label, and then it may or may not have like some small text below that's description text. And so it's really, really difficult to kind of properly position this button so it's in line with just the form elements. And the way we do that is we actually do some pre-processing, and we stick in a label element that's hidden from the accessibility tree with this visibility hidden property up here. And that ensures that this is always pushed down exactly the amount of the other labels. And like, this is like one of those like little details that you should never have to worry about, but Drupal makes us worry about. Another thing is like, obviously, like views, like here we have a table view. These like to get all of these like icons and everything working. And then there's things like Drupal supports what they call responsive tables, where they hide certain columns at certain widths. We support that. Obviously, we have support for pagers. If we have like a whole bunch of content in here, the pagers are styled really nicely. Everything's super accessible, works in things like force colors mode, et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna stop sharing it, or you can stop sharing that now.
All right. Very good. So how about that's okay. That's it. I wasn't sure which one Steven was going to put on the screen, but yeah. So how do you, from a technical standpoint, the short version is, how do you guarantee color contrast?
Yeah, so color contrast, like I don't want to say we're it's 100% guaranteed. It's more like 99% guaranteed and stuff. I'm telling everybody this because like I don't want to get sued if something's wrong, But so the way that our theme system works is like, obviously meeting the color contrast on things like white text and white surfaces and dark surfaces and stuff are really easy. The tricky part is that primary theme color. So when we do that, when you select the primary theme color, we take that hex value and we convert that hex value into it's a LCH, which is a different kind of notation for hex. This all occurs server side, so there's no like flash of on-cell content. And then on that LCH value, we look at that L value, which stands for lightness, and we determine if that lightness, if that primary color is dark or light. At that point, we will add a CSS class onto the HTML tag, and that kind of tells our theme system whether on that primary color, whether we should use light text or dark text. That's kind of complicated, but like, it's one of those things that, it's a complicated problem.
Yeah, I know, but that's great info. Just again, it shows how much TLC you guys are putting into all. So, and I know you've answered this a couple times already, but there have been several questions about support. So I think it does bear repeating. And I think the question here is the way it's posed is incorrect, right? It's $4.99 for the theme, and that gets you 2 months support, and then past that, it's $100 per year.
Yeah, that is correct. So it's a $4.99 one-time charge, and then each year is $100 for updates and support. And we thank you, Stephen, for those stuff. So you can save yourself a little bit of money.
So someone has probably already purchased a theme and yet to get their link. Based on the theme or based on the order. Is that to be expected, or?
I blame man.
Yeah. Well, it's like our restaurant soft opening here. We're serving up food. We might have mixed your fries up or something, but no. I think for one, you don't get the link via email. If you just go to the dashboard, like you log into the site and there's like a magic link, you just put in your email. If you're not logged in, it'll get you there. Go to your dashboard page. It'll show all your themes and then your link to download that. And if you still have an issue.
Let me kind of show that really quick, if you don't mind sharing my screen. So I'm logged in as a test user, or no, let me log in as a test user and just kind of show this really quick. I'm logging in on another screen right here, but I don't want to show my user account and all that stuff and password and all that stuff. So when you log in, and you can get your login through the login form right here, you go to your account page, and then you have your theme access link right here, and this is what you click on, and then this will download a zip file. And maybe Andy, that could be
we'll deactivate
that
that license.
But I would say maybe we should send that an email out.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
That's on the roadmap.
We can. There's a lot of stuff to do.
If you have trouble, support at dripyard.com, and we'll definitely make sure any order support you have today and going forward is taken care of quickly.
All right. And last question, kind of a technical one, but actually I'm surprised that we didn't get this one earlier, because I was wondering the same thing. Custom font. How easy to integrate? How does that work?
Yeah, let's can you share the theme again? Or share my screen, and let me open up so what do we got here? So let me close this one and get this one up right here. So this is so as you download it, you're gonna have this directory called Dripyard themes right here, and you'll have a sub theme, right? So Neon by default, we have some variables for typography right up here. We have our sans font and mono font. So what you would do is you would add your fonts into your sub theme, just like normal. You would create like a little fonts directory, add your WAF2 files in there. You would have to create a custom CSS file similar to what we have here that loads those files. And obviously make sure that CSS file is loaded. And at that point, you would just override these variables right here. Where is it? Right up here. There's a couple other things, including we have our HTML header where we do our preloads. You can override this component, and you can so it doesn't preload your old fonts. All the stuff it sounds kind of complicated, but it's standard, like CSS, HTML, and stuff like that. Honestly, this would be like a really good how-to blog article or something like that. I'm gonna have to write this one down. But hopefully that answers your question. It's like obviously a little bit more involved with that, but hopefully I pointed you to the right way.
That's all of our questions. I'll let you guys wrap things up.
So I want to thank number one, Stephen for running the tech. Stephen from Talking Drupal. You're amazing. He took a lot off of our plate. He applied our brand colors, put our logo up there, did all of this amazing stuff. We did tech checks, and this webinar would have been a lot more difficult without someone who knows what they're doing beyond that. So we owe Stephen a substantial amount of beers, and also thanks Mike for taking questions and being here to do that. We're really appreciative.
Yeah, you guys are great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone else.
Steven gets beers. No mention of beers for me. Okay. No.
You get a beer. You get a beer if you show up in Vienna, which I know you're not. So I also want to thank like a lot of people on the Drupal Canvas team and like the core teams. Like we've been asking questions and we've been filing issues. They've been fixing our issues that we've been finding. I want to say like it hasn't just been Andy and I have done like a lot of like the vast majority work, but a lot of people made this happen. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right.
All right.
Good.
I think we're good. So we'll get this published, recorded and published. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for attending.